Good evening, family. Welcome to Military Strategies. This is an urgent live broadcast. Over 100 people, including children, are already injured. A ballistic missile has struck in the south of Israel, in the city of Arad, near the Dead Sea. There was a direct hit, there are a lot of injured people, and the area is a disaster zone. At this moment, it appears to be a Khorramshahr 4 missile. It has bypassed Israel's defenses and made a direct impact, as I said, on Israel. Welcome, for lack of a better word, here on Military Strategies. Thank you very much for being here. Live with us. We also have a guest tonight, Ariel Kanieski, who is live with us. Ariel, good evening.
Shalom, how are you?
Well, here we are.
Here we are.
What happened?
Well, this started before, not just a while ago. They launched a missile. They're trying to hit Dimona. It's what we've been saying for several days now. They want to attack the nuclear plant in the Negev desert next to the city of Dimona. Not long ago, there was also a direct hit in Dimona with several injured, all already evacuated to the hospital. And now, just a few minutes ago, another attack, and again, a direct hit. A ballistic missile, half a ton of explosives, it seems, hit directly. It's the big missile. We're not talking about a cluster bomb. We're not talking about that. We always say cluster bomblets. We always say pieces of a missile intercepted in the air. No, this is the whole missile, the one with half a ton of explosives. The same thing that happened in Beit Shemesh at the beginning of the war when it bypassed the defense systems, that giant missile, and it hit directly and there were casualties. The same thing happened a few minutes ago in the city of Arad. It's also in the Negev desert, there in the area between Dimona, in the northern part of the Negev desert. We don't have exact numbers yet. We have images, some of which I sent you, that can be published.
Yes, we're looking at them right now. We're watching video footage. We have some photographs. We're going to show them now.
Now, these are almost live images. As they come in, I send them to you and we show them to the people. Official, should I tell you, or should I say officially? Look, we know the number of injured is going to rise, but officially there are between 30 and 40 injured. We know there are more. Okay, more. There are many more. And for now, no deaths have been declared, but there are missing people. There are people trapped. There are people. The rubble from some of the buildings, there are several destroyed buildings. You can see them in the images. There hasn't been a collapse of any of them yet, but at any moment, the buildings are already at risk.
There is a building that is collapsing. There is a building. We are going to see it now on screen. About the deaths, as I mentioned at the beginning, there is information saying that there are fatalities, but let's wait a bit as well. Sorry, maybe I rushed a bit with this topic, but the situation is serious. The situation is quite serious right now. Let me say something. The Khorramshahr missile weighs between 1,500 and 1,800 kilos, no more and no less. That thing is a missile that was supposedly also used last night to try to attack Diego Garcia. It's a missile that already, from what we know or from what is being what has a range of 4,000 kilometers and it can reach any capital in Europe. This thing that fell there could have fallen in Paris, in Madrid, in any place in Europe. So that people realize that you don't need 4,000 kilometers, but Iran has 4,000 kilometer weapons capable of doing this. That needs to be made very clear to a lot of people who are saying that this war isn't theirs, that this war has nothing to do with them. I think they're making a big mistake, or they just can't see the meteor coming before it hits them on the head. Strictly speaking, I'm going to show you a photograph while we show photos and videos of what's happening so people can see the weapon we're talking about. Right now, we're going to show a photograph. And yes, it's true, they've been firing for 24 hours over the Negev area, over the Dimona area, to test the air defenses, to test the weak points. And it seems that, unfortunately, they're finding the gap to slip through the air defense. This is the image of the missile. There we see it. It's the Khorramshahr. As I said, it's a gigantic missile. It's the latest evolution of missiles from Iran. There are several versions. It can carry anything from a nuclear warhead to even cluster warheads. High penetration, like what just fell right now, or high explosive, like what just fell in Arad. and it's destructive, liquid-fueled, it takes time to load, and it's solid-fueled. The attack must have been prepared for a long time, and this missile must have come from one of the arsenals that must still be hidden somewhere in Iran to open fire on a city full of civilians.
Images.
Oh, that swashbuckler. Ariel?
Tell us about that city, because the population over there is very mixed, right?
Yes. Originally, it's a city of Israelis of North African origin, from the area Jews of Moroccan origin, Algerian origin, Tunisian origin. There are also some Indians and Yemenis. And over time, especially in recent decades, a large ultra-Orthodox population moved there. There, they started buying entire apartments, forming ultra-Orthodox neighborhoods. And that's why, surely in most of the images you're seeing, there are Jews, ultra-Orthodox, Hasidic, who today make up, and I think that half of the population of the city of Arad chooses it. Look, the ultra-Orthodox don't really care much about where they live. It's true. It's true that there's always a preference for Jerusalem, but it's also true that the prices in Jerusalem are sometimes very high. For the ultra-Orthodox Jews, who are mainly poor Jews here in Israel, what they simply do is move to other cities. They go in groups. It also happens in Beit Shemesh, frequently here in Ashdod and in Arad. And that's why that area appears from the images we're seeing as an area of Hasidic Jews, a Hasidic dynasty called Hasidut Gur, which is one of the largest here in Israel. Let's see, we need to understand a bit about what kind of people we're talking about. All right, we have our smartphones, Samsung smartphones, iPhones. When Iran launches a rocket, we get a missile alert. We get a warning that tells us a missile is coming because we have the home front command app installed. We have a smartphone. They don't have that. They don't have that. So in many cases, they also live, quote unquote, a bit more isolated. They are aware, obviously, of what's happening, and there are ways from the home front command for them to know as well. Phone calls, SMS, traditional messages that are also sent to these old phones because they have old phones, the Nokias, the ones we used 20, 25 years ago, they still use those. And therefore, it's a population that, while they are aware of what's happening, is a little more isolated from information. They're a little more isolated. That's the reason why also in the information we have, there's still nothing official yet, right? We know that there are children among the injured. We know that there are babies among the injured because they are large families. They're also large families. So if a ballistic missile with half a ton of explosives falls there and blows up 3 or 4 buildings and even collapses one in each of those apartments, which are small. In Tel Aviv, for example, either one person or a family with 1 or 2 children and a dog would live there. And on the other hand, they can easily have a family with 7, 6, 8, or 9 children because they are large families. So the damage is much greater. That's why we're seeing the same thing as in Beit Shemesh. We're also talking about a city of religious Jews who generally live more in apartments than in areas that are a bit less religious. And that's why the number of victims is also staggering. We're talking about a high number of victims. Officially, we have double digits. I'm not going to give the number because it's not official yet, but it wouldn't surprise us if in the next few hours, 3-digit numbers of injured people start to appear. Injured people of varying degrees, some seriously, others with minor injuries, some in shock, some in critical condition, and probably also some dead. It's not official yet. We're talking about 11:20 p.m. local time in Israel. No fatalities have been officially declared yet, but unfortunately, we know what is going to happen. In the next few hours, those dramatic reports will start to appear, and I have 2 pieces of news. I have 2 breaking news updates for you. The first one, the Israeli army confirms that there were 2 interception attempts, and both of them failed. The Israeli army confirms that this is not a new missile, but rather a ballistic missile that has already been launched against Israel, with 450 kilos of explosives. And the other news is that the cabinet is meeting now in an emergency session, holding phone consultations with all the members of the security cabinet to decide what measures to take in response to this massacre.
To the question of whether a building has been knocked down, there used to be a building there, now there's no building. It's an incredible thing, what we're seeing here. There are images that I obviously can't show because they're extremely graphic and we can't show them due to platform rules, obviously. But also today it's raining a lot in that area. It's practically pouring, which isn't usually common in the Negev. And look, besides raining water, it's raining fire from the sky. And they have promised it. Tonight we're going to focus on the southern area of Israel, especially in response to why the Natanz nuclear plant was destroyed today. Thank you. They've been trying to destroy a nuclear plant all day, shooting at the city, shooting towards the nuclear plant. You have to realize that if what happened had fallen on a nuclear plant, right now, we wouldn't just have a serious problem, but a very serious one. We would be talking about the evacuation of the entire south of Israel, just so we're clear. That's how serious what we're talking about is. I imagine the cabinet is going to meet, and as Ariel is saying, they're going to meet right away to take strong action. This is an escalation. Look at the image. I think this image is devastating, the one we're seeing from ground zero. I think there's more than 450 kilos of explosives there. That's my view, based on all I've seen during these wars and what we've calculated. The images coming in are terrifying. That it's like a kind of doomsday, a sort of judgment day. This time, Iran has achieved its objective, which is to kill civilians, massacre cities, and end the lives of innocent people. What do you think could happen, Ariel?
Okay, we have it here. The rescue forces in Arad say that for now there are no fatalities. What do you think?
For now, there are no fatalities? Good.
No, for now there are no fatalities. There's an impressive number of injured people. A lot. There is total destruction. But for now, with it being 11 p.m. in Israel, the Israeli emergency forces report that there are no fatalities at this moment. And they say ad hoc, meaning up until now for the moment. But there are still missing people, and it is still believed that some are also trapped in their homes and have not been rescued yet. In the meantime, I'm sending you images, I'm sending you photos in case you want to show them. These are things that can already be shown. There's no problem. I want to clarify something. I want to tell people something, all right? There's the last image I sent you. It's the emergency forces looking for people trapped under the rubble.
Between the apartments, we're watching and showing images. Tell us.
The ambulances have also sent helicopters to evacuate the injured. Need?
En Beersheba. Arar está cerca de Beersheba.
He hung up also for Supo. Thanks, that was it.
Attacked in the 12 days war?
Yes, and they're saying, just to put things in perspective, that the missile that landed here is the same as the one that landed in Soroka. That's what they're saying. During the 12 days war, a missile landed in Soroka and blew everything up there. There were no casualties because they decided to evacuate a day before. Otherwise, it would have been a catastrophe. They're saying it's the same missile. Now, what does that mean? Nothing new happened here, okay? Nothing new happened here. So what did happen? What happened is that the Israeli defense system failed. It failed just like it did initially in Beit Shemesh. What Iran did now, they've been doing for 22 days, these attacks that Iran is carrying out, and now we see it, and now they've caused a catastrophe. This is a massacre. They've been doing this for 22 days. If it were up to Iran, we would have images like this every single day. The good thing we have in Israel is that we have a multi-layered missile defense system. The most well-known is the Iron Dome, but that one doesn't work for Iranian attacks. It's for attacks from Hamas, Hezbollah, or Islamic Jihad. There are Hetz-Shalosh systems, the famous Arrow 3, which detect ballistic missiles from Iran and destroy them, and it's working quite well. In fact, we always say that there's an effectiveness rate of over 90%. Of course, when we say over 90%, we're not saying 100% because it's not 100%. And statistically, in a war that's already lasted 22 days, if the effectiveness isn't 100%, at some point this is going to happen. Which is that after 2 attempts, both attempts fail and the ballistic missile launched from Iran hits. Unfortunately, it hits an apartment block in a residential neighborhood where many people live. But so that people can stay calm, it's obvious that we're talking about a catastrophe. It's obvious that this needs to have an appropriate response. It's obvious that it needs to be investigated, and the army has to do this. Why did 2 interception attempts fail? We need to see what's happening with the systems. But as we've been saying, the effectiveness so far is quite good. It's over 90%. Because if not, we would be seeing images like this every day. Otherwise, the images we see of Tel Aviv, fake news made with artificial intelligence, would be real. Because Tel Aviv would be destroyed, because every day there would be impacts that would cause destruction, like the one just caused by the missile that hit Arad or Dimona. A while ago, it wasn't that serious either because it was a bomblet from a cluster bomb, but there was also a direct hit. Now, the solution? We are lucky that we have the anti-missile system, but it's not that something different happened here. It's not because I understand that people are very worried, and I understand that people are asking what's happening, and I understand that people are saying, has Iran escalated the conflict? No, Iran has not escalated the conflict. Iran, when it has something to throw at us, it throws it at us. When it's cloudy. It's much easier for them to attack because it's harder for Israel to detect where the missiles are coming from. And it's already been 3 days of bad weather in Iran, and now it's even started raining in Israel too. And so we're in a period of days where we know Iran is going to attack more, mainly because of the weather in the Middle East, especially over Iran. They shoot when they have something. They did the same thing now as they did yesterday in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, 2 days ago in Ashdod, and 4 days ago in Haifa. The difference is the missile didn't hit, but without the anti-air system, it would have. Iran launched the missile just like it does every day. The bad luck is that statistically one of them hits, and when it hits, things happen. This is what we just saw, and I say it like this to calm people down. Especially so that panic doesn't spread. So people don't think now that Iran is holding back secret weapons it didn't have, and that it's going to use them against the state of Israel, that Iran is keeping secret weapons with who knows how many kilos of explosives, that now it's going to start using them, and the war is going to turn around and shift in their favor. None of that is true. I mean, the analysis we've been doing, both you and I, from the beginning of the war until today is still the same. The difference is that now there's a tragedy or another one, like the one we had in Beit Shemesh 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it's very serious. Of course it is. It's very serious. And the army has to investigate what happened, why the interception attempts didn't work.
Breaking news. Iran orders immediate evacuation of the entire neighborhood. Diplomatic District of Qatar in Doha, where, among other things, Al Jazeera's headquarters are located. He says they're going to destroy it.
That makes me feel so sorry.
What a shame after all the great work you've been doing. Look.
I'll get closer so you can see me tearing up.
Yes, after creating the work, great work.
It makes me sad that they're destroying Al Jazeera's headquarters. I really think it's terrible, seriously. It is.
It's tremendous. Just look at this. The spokesperson for the Islamic regime boasts about the new gap that allows them to attack civilian buildings in southern Israel.
And he says, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if it's really a gap.
We'll have to see. But wait. Look at what he says. The man says, this guy, who's always threatening the young man, says they're moving into an offensive phase. After weeks of identifying the enemy's vulnerabilities, now we're moving into an offensive phase. It's true that I've been noticing they've been changing the way they attack. They've been trying different methods. And the method that works more or less for them is launching munitions at low altitude. Because in that case, neither the THAAD system, nor the Arrow system, or even some Patriot systems can engage. They launch a missile that's gigantic, like the Hormasha, which has a range of 4,000 kilometers, but they launch it at low altitude. Why? Because if it goes into space, it gets destroyed. But if they launch it at low altitude, since it has a pretty wide range to reach Israel, they don't mind losing that range, which happens when flying at low altitude instead of high altitude. And they launch it and it slips through that way. That's more or less what they're considering based on the attacks we've seen and the systems being used to shoot them down. Because we're not seeing large waves. We're not seeing waves of 200 missiles. This has been a single missile that hit, a single missile in Dimona that hit. In other words, we're going one by one.
Of course, but that's what I mean. Sure, if you fire 30 missiles at once, like they did in the 12-day war, statistically, one or two are going to hit. If you fire one, but you fire one 15 times, 20 times, 30 times, statistically, one is going to hit. You understand? I mean, exactly. The statistics are the same. The statistics are the same. So what I think, maybe they're trying to increase the impact range. Like you said, you understand those things. I have no idea. I also think it's a statistical matter. I think that's mainly what it is. It's mainly a statistical matter. It's true that we've been seeing, both you and I, that in the last few days, they've been attacking more than they were attacking a week or two ago. More often, not with greater intensity, but with less time in between. That is, the waiting time between attacks in these last few days has gotten shorter. Although it's also true that in the Tel Aviv area, in the Ashdod area, and in the Jerusalem area, we haven't seen as many attacks today or yesterday. Today we've seen attacks mainly, and yesterday in the Dimona area, yes, in the Negev area. I think they're trying to attack there. I think this is Iran's response, which is still ongoing, to the Israeli attack on the gas field. They said they will attack Israel's critical infrastructure now. And does the Dimona incident also have to do with the attack on the Natanz facility, which also took place at night? Maybe Israel didn't participate, but well, Iran doesn't care. If Israel participated, if it was the United States, it's their nuclear facility. So as a response, Iran is attacking our nuclear facility. Okay, it doesn't bother me. You know what I say? They always want to attack Dimona. I don't care. Why attack an area where families live? Because when Israel or the United States attack in Fordow, or attack in Natanz, or attack in Isfahan, they don't attack families, they attack facilities, they attack the country's infrastructure. So the main problem is that Iran is a terrorist regime that finances terrorism, attacks families, attacks innocent people. That's the main problem.
I want to ask you a question, my friend from Magen David Adom.
We officially have 64 injured so far. It's outrageous. 64?
It's insane.
7 are in serious condition, but serious, not critical. Serious means they will survive. 15 are in moderate condition, and the rest have minor injuries. Well, it seems that for now, there are no fatalities, it seems.
They say that the people have been found under the rubble, seriously injured, as you just said, but they weren't dead. At first, it was even thought that they could be dead because of the amount of rubble on top of them. Ariel, I'm going to ask you a question. Especially since you're going to the shelters, have you noticed if the number of people going to the shelters is less, or is it still the same as the first day? I mean, are Israelis still going to the shelters, or have some gotten tired of going and are stopping, or do they prefer to stay at home? What's happening?
And I'll explain to you why there's always been apathy about going to the shelter. In general, Israelis don't really like running to the shelter, and you'll always find people who don't go. That's always going to happen.
Check out this video. It's unthinkable that this, or if it happens to be right there.
This isn't from now, right? That's from Dimona.
This is the one from Dimona, 9:45.
That's the one from a few hours ago. Yes.
Why aren't people going to the shelter? What, here? Is it something that people are already getting tired of? Are they already?
No, I think these are very particular cases. I don't think that represents, I mean, there have always been people, and there will always be people who say, it's not going to happen to me. Nothing will happen here. Nothing ever happens. It's like winning the lottery. There will always be that kind of people, and that's what we've been reporting. I always say it all the time. I always say, okay, it's like winning the lottery. The people on my channel already know it, of course, but always with the lottery. When you play, you don't win, but someone does, or someone who already won. The same thing happens with missiles. You don't get hit, no, never. But someone does get hit. It's never you, but maybe someday it will be you. And the thing is that always, in every war, it's not just a specific case with Iran. There are always people who think it won't happen to them. They stay outside. I myself, when I go to the shelter, see people who stay outside. I mean, if you're already at the shelter, go inside the shelter. I see people who stay outside smoking. That's it. I go in. If they want to come in, let them come in. Is there a limit to how much you can warn people? If after 22 days they haven't realized that Iran's missiles kill, what do? Do you grab them by force and take them with you? You can't do that, but I don't think it's a phenomenon or that there's a trend of fewer and fewer people going. I don't think so. And especially after the recent attacks we've seen, since in the last few days, there has been an increase in attacks. And well, now that we see these images, people are going to get scared and will start going to the shelters more often.
Ariel, does Israel say that these are 450 kilos of explosives?
Yes.
Yo no quiero ni... If that's the case, I don't even want to imagine 1,800 kilos. It's devastating.
They're talking about more or less half a ton of explosives.
They have less. This. What do you think Israel will do? Mokshabad? Any of these?
No, I think we stick to the plan. I don't think anything different will happen. I think the cabinet is just meeting to get an update. What could happen is that they move up something they were planning to do in the next few days. Instead of doing it the day after tomorrow or in a week, they might do it today. Like bombing a specific place in Iran, something they were saving for later. But for example, Mokshabad is not a retaliation for today's attack. Mokshabad already has a target on his back. From before, since February 28th, I mean, the day Israel gets information. If he's still alive, let's assume he's alive. Maybe it's because there are always new rumors that he died, was disconnected from the machine, isn't breathing, or is brain dead. I don't know. The guy is alive. It's not like they're going to get rid of him now as retaliation for this. Even without this, they were going to eliminate him anyway. We're sticking with the same plan. I think what has to happen now, the difference that needs to happen now is that Israel has to investigate and do some self-criticism to see what went wrong here, because something failed here, because there were 2 attempts to intercept the missile that were not successful. And that's the army's job. The army has to see what went wrong in order to try to fix it. Because, of course, Israel tells us, no, go to the shelter. But even if you go to the shelter, to a shelter, it can't withstand an impact like that. It can't withstand a half-ton impact.
A direct hit is very complicated.
Of course, it's quite complicated.
It's very, very, very complicated for it to hold up. The footage, more images keep coming in. I'm serious. It's incredible. How does the devastated area look now? Al Jazeera says. Well, Al Jazeera says that Iran told them they haven't launched any rockets at Diego Garcia, that they haven't launched any missiles.
Yes, they say no, but well, they also said they didn't attack in Turkey and that they didn't attack in the Persian Gulf countries. They said that too. If it's them, we know they're lying.
Well, look at what they just said. This already. It seems that Europe still hasn't caught on to this story, and it's going to pay for it in the end. In the end, Europe is going to pay for this. What they're saying here is whether Trump has threatened the European Union with taking over Greenland. Let them call us, we'll protect them. I would like to say to the European Union, let them call us and we'll protect them. This is already unbelievable. In the end, tell me. Yes.
I don't know. Sometimes I have the habit of reading the comments. There's someone asking here, but I can't see it anymore. I just saw it. Who pays for the reconstruction of these buildings? It's something people always ask. They want to know that. This is paid for by the state. That is now all these people. We're talking about dozens of families. We're talking about thousands of people, probably because there are dozens or even hundreds of families who were left without a home. The army, the neighborhoods, Israel is going to relocate them to a place, probably hotels, since the hotels are empty because there's no tourism. And they will rebuild their homes. If they are homeowners, their houses will be rebuilt for them. If you're renting, they'll temporarily give you a place to live. And then at some point, you'll have to start figuring things out again because it wasn't your house anyway, right? But the government helps, both for those who temporarily have to find a place to sleep for the next few days, weeks, or even maybe months, as well as for rebuilding later. And another thing they're asking here is that they said on another channel, I also said it on my channel, Israel arrested a traitor yesterday, a reservist soldier who was part of the Iron Dome defense system because he had leaked information. Could it relate to the system failure? No, it has nothing to do with it because the Iron Dome system is not related to the system that intercepts the ballistic missiles launched by Iran. There was an arrest for treason. That guy is going to be in jail for at least 10 years, maybe even 30, maybe his whole life. But they are different systems. With different equipment, with different personnel operating them. They are not the same. They are not the same units. All right?
Oh my God.
Madre mía.
And the night has just begun. And if Iran has drawn blood, will it go for more?
Of course, now they're going to keep attacking there. They're going to keep launching
there until the window of opportunity closes.
Yes?
Ariel, I don't want to take more of your time. Is there anything else you'd like to share, or do you want to stay?
Yes, I would like to ask people not to write information that hasn't been verified, especially not highlighting it with super chats. Because everyone sees it, and there are people posting, I don't know how many dead, and I don't know how many injured, information that comes from rumors and from sources that haven't been verified. Because we are giving verified information here, okay? And the verified information is what we gave a little while ago. And for now, there are 6 people seriously injured, 13 in moderate condition, and 40 in condition. How do you say it when it's not serious? But at the moment, there aren't any. I couldn't think of the word, but for now, there are no deaths, all right? So I ask you, please, I don't care who you are, whether you're members or not, whether you're paying for a super chat or not. Sorry, I know this isn't my channel, but I have to say this and explain why it's serious. And I see that the message has already been deleted. I deleted it myself, and that seems perfect. I'm an admin. I could have deleted it myself too, but since it's not my channel, I usually don't get too involved. Those messages must be deleted, and I kindly ask administrators to always do so. Mainly because there's a high percentage of people who follow military strategies who are from Israel, who live in Israel. And for many of them, since they still don't know Hebrew well, this is their main source of information. And maybe these are people who have family in Arad and they still don't really know what just happened. And it's unacceptable that you are writing that there are dead people or that things are happening in Arad just because you saw it on some WhatsApp or Telegram channel from sources that are not official, from people who think they are the spokesperson for the army or the spokesperson for the Israeli government, when in reality they are nobody. And isn't it possible that those people who are relatives of people who might be missing read those messages and panic? And I say this especially for the people who live in Israel, and I know for a fact, and you do too, military strategies, that there are a lot of Spanish speakers living in Israel, that this is the main source of information they consume. So please, if you're going to pay for a super chat, if you want to contribute, do it for the right causes, not to spread fake news. And to continue with the alarmism, because you're not helping anyone. We already have a pretty problematic situation without having to deal with this kind of people. Thank you.
Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I also apologize because at first I said there were deaths, and that's because I saw that number published everywhere. I apologize. We correct that. Thankfully, there are no deaths so far, and hopefully it stays that way. In fact, later, when we finish the video, I'll edit that part out, obviously because it's not correct information. But yes, sometimes you have to be very careful. I also understand, I mean, not to defend anyone, but I also get that it's a situation that's happening in real time. That, let's say nowadays, this has turned into something that just happens. And you see it, you don't wait a while. For example, during the recent attack in Dimona, when I was broadcasting live alone, I said, I'm going to wait a while before releasing these images. I'm going to wait a while so that the emergency teams can work, so they can... It's normal. It's normal. A lot of things are happening very quickly. I'm sure that super chat didn't have bad intentions. I'm sure it wasn't meant badly, but please be careful. Be careful with this.
It's the first time the chat agrees with one of my outbursts on this channel. It's the first time.
It also really depends on the channel's reputation. I mean, we can't start saying these kinds of things without being 100% sure. Otherwise, it's just another channel. It's not Estrategia Militar. And about what you were saying about people watching us in Israel, it's interesting. Quite interesting. And look, I'm going to give you a fact so you can see it. And you realize something, right? There are 169,000 people who have watched us from Israel in this last month. 169,000 people. And since military strategies began, which is also worth highlighting, people who have watched us from Israel, it's crazy. Look, I just enjoyed deleting a message. 1,800,000. Well, I don't know. It's probably better off deleted.
Yes, yes.
Let's see.
Yes, 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 I swear I do.
Ah, yes. Let's see if there are any dead. We'll say it.
Pero cuando
No,
esté
no,
confirmado.
In fact, I think there's a high chance that someone has died. Unfortunately, seeing what we're seeing,
All right, here we go. I think it's possible that in the next few hours we'll get worse news than what we have right now. Just to clarify, because I see in the chat people keep saying things. It's currently 11:50 p.m. in Israel, which is right now because we're live. Officially, there are only injured people, some in serious condition, others in moderate condition, and others in mild condition. That is right now, being almost midnight Israeli time, there are no officially reported deaths as a result of this attack. And I know there are unofficial channels because I read them too, and I also received that information. That's why I said what I said earlier. In all languages. They're saying things that aren't official from sources that aren't official. So please, this is a very sensitive topic. We're talking about people, about victims. We're talking about families. We're talking about information that can't be given lightly for these kinds of things. We only use official information, and the official information is what we just gave and nothing else. And the possibility is being considered. Remember that a week ago, Estrategias, we gave the information that Israel approved. The reopening of schools in some places, well, it seems that they might be considering that. It was also mentioned in the Security Cabinet's phone meeting that it seems they are talking about closing all the schools in Israel tomorrow.
While this whole issue is being investigated, I actually think it's logical, and I also think it's responsible. I think it's responsible. I see that people are still writing Twitter media alert. I don't know what alert Ariel is talking about. Who is watching it right now on Israeli television? That there is a member of the Israeli Internal Security Command sitting next to the TV host, giving the number of injured people there are. I don't care if it says alert. I don't know what. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is that the government is officially saying it. It's not to discredit anyone. Please.
Some people in the chat are saying they're seeing it on Spanish TV. They're saying something different from the official information.
Bueno, pues. Keep watching. That's how it goes. Spain is doing well.
Who used to say that?
Spain is doing well. I don't know. No.
Someone used to say, Spain is doing well. Who was it?
And there's one who's very angry. There's one who's very angry. Look at how he's dressed. The commander of the Revolutionary Guard for the Air and Space Force. He looks like a Mossad agent. Do you remember when, during the 12-day war, they sent out a pamphlet in Iran saying how to recognize, how to identify a Mossad spy? He wears a cap, glasses, a mask.
It was really good.
If they take out the trash, this and that, or if they keep the curtains closed during the day,
Yes.
well, there you go. Now, they're scared. They're really scared, but even so, they have to keep firing. They have to keep firing. What did the head of the Iranian parliament say? Last night, I dreamed about this guy. And be careful when you dream, because the president of the Iranian parliament boasts about his striking residential buildings. The Israeli regime fails to intercept the missiles in the highly protected Dimona area. Could this be an operational sign that a new phase of the battle is beginning? The skies over Israel will be left defenseless. As a result, it seems that the time has come to put the next pre-designed plans into practice. Happy Nowruz to the Iranian nation. Galibaf, for those who don't know who he is, I'm going to show you the photograph. By the way,
We can also say the last sentence ourselves. Happy Nowruz to all Iranians who are celebrating the new year these days, regardless of their religion or political ideology. Iranians in exile and regime opponents. It's a celebration that also belongs to them. And fortunately, it's a celebration that was preserved after the Ayatollah's revolution in 79, even though it has nothing to do with Islam. So yes, Happy Nowruz to all the Iranians who are watching us, especially those in the diaspora.
it's incredible. It's incredible. This is Galibaf. Well, Galibaf, I think that he's a prime target. He's a pretty significant target. He's a pretty big target. For me, I want...
That man, why hasn't he returned his soul to the creator yet?
I think that on the list, on Netanyahu's list, it has to be around there. It's just that I think that list keeps changing in number. I think it keeps changing in number, in position, right? And Galibaf is moving up. He wants to rise and wants to ascend. He's already seeking ascension. You know that thing about how there are no virgins left in the Virgin Islands? There aren't 72 virgins anymore. So now there's one who's 72 years old for each person. So now just grandmas are left. It's incredible. It's really incredible. This is what we're seeing in these very harsh images. It's what we're witnessing. We've been at war for 22 days and we've only seen 3 places hit with this level of violence in these 23 days. One in the central area of Israel on the outskirts. I think it was in Ramat Gan. Another in Beit Shemesh. And this one, as far as I can remember right now. That there is this kind of destruction. There has been material damage. That's undeniable. There have been some houses that were damaged by cluster munitions. There have been penetrations through the roof. There have been victims, but the level of violence we've seen. We also need to see an image of Dimona, which we haven't seen from above, to find out what happened there. Has a missile like this fallen there too? So, if we understand that today is a dark day for Israel, obviously, because of what's happening in the south, the fact that Iran is firing at the southern area, after detecting that there may be some kind of difficulty in the anti-aircraft system due to weather conditions or for whatever reason. It's also noteworthy and it needs to be analyzed and investigated. But Israel is not destroyed. I mean...
No.
Just because 5 impacts like this happen in 22 days, Israel isn't destroyed. No?
It's true that area is destroyed.
That's how it is.
That's how it is. And there's also an area like that in Tel Aviv. There's one in Tel Aviv from day one. Do you remember? Is there an area like that? It's not even that, since in Beth Shemesh it landed in a bunker. So the neighborhood wasn't destroyed either. And then there are other places where there's some destruction. But no, these images they're showing, or they take images from Gaza or Beirut or Tehran and make them look like they're from Tel Aviv. Or they take them directly from artificial intelligence. Hold on, strategist. I want to address a person, Ephraim, who is very nervous. Don't worry, Ephraim. We don't have inside information. We see it on television. Everything we tell is first approved by military censorship. Everything is fine. You don't need to worry since we have no secrets. So everything is fine. Don't worry. You can sleep peacefully, sleep calmly. That's it. Introduction. Ephraim posts a message in Hebrew saying that we should be very careful with the information we show because we could be giving information to the enemy.
This is published by the emergency services. Yes, exactly. A logo appears showing who published it. Then...
Yes, I didn't send you that one, did I?
No.
I don't consume Arab media. So I told him just to reassure him to send a message. No. Of course, we don't share secrets, mainly because we don't have any secrets, and our information is approved by the Israeli media, which receives approval from military censorship. And therefore, everything we share is authorized for publication.
Of course, people are getting super paranoid now. Look, Iran knows where it has struck. Iran knows where it has hit. Iran knows where it fires the missile. Me?
To me, yes.
No, they're missiles with precise destinations. No, well, look, let's play a video of the emergency services giving an interview on the ground. A place.
Today, cameras from the Union and Prosecutor's Office arrived at the scene in Arad.
Is the head of the rescue team, the spokesperson, or the person in charge explaining what happened and how the rescue efforts are going at this moment? Yes, that's true, but it's inevitable. Family, it's inevitable. If Iran detects that there is a large number of emergency teams in one place, it launches a second attack to try to finish them off. That's inevitable. They'll know that if they know where they've hit, because they can quickly see where they've struck, because they have intelligence on the ground and more systems that we're not going to discuss. That's inevitable, but it doesn't mean that just because we're doing this live broadcast, telling the world, explaining to the world what's happening, anyone's life is being put in danger. In fact, the world needs to see this. The world needs to see this, because today it's Israel, tomorrow it could be Madrid, the day after Barcelona, it could be Rome, it could be Athens, it could be France, Paris, it could be any of our cities in Europe, the ones that could face the terror of Iran, which has all of us held hostage with its ballistic missiles, 400 kilos of plutonium for 10 nuclear weapons. If people don't want to realize this quickly, well, then that's people's problem. But the world has to see this. Looking the other way or hiding it is a mistake. And this channel isn't about making propaganda for a country. This channel is about telling what's happening. If there's destruction, such as the half block shown here that's been destroyed, we report it. It's a tragedy, but we report it because people have the right to know what has happened and what is happening. Besides, this is very serious. This is extremely serious. I do believe there will be an escalation. I really think so, that there are reasons for an escalation in today's context. Zamir said that the war had already reached the midpoint, meaning we were in the middle of the operation, and now the war was centering. In the second part, that is the final or intermediate part, heading towards the end. I think this is going to change the plans because Iran still has ballistic missiles. I wanted to ask you, because I've seen a post from Netanyahu. I've seen that Netanyahu has spoken somewhere. Has he made any statement? Do we know anything from TV? Or should we look it up? No?
Netanyahu did make a statement, but it was brief. Ben Gvir is going to the place and the chief of police is going too. And Netanyahu, the only thing he said, wait, I have it here. I just saw it. No, he didn't say anything important. That's why I didn't mention it. What did Netanyahu say? Netanyahu said, I have it here. Wait, I'll translate it simultaneously. It's a very difficult night in the fight for our future. Not long ago, I spoke with the mayor of Arad and asked him to convey, on behalf of all Israelis, our prayers for the wounded's recovery. I have instructed the Director General of my office to provide all necessary assistance together with all the government ministers. That's what Netanyahu said.
Ben Gvir is going, no, he's not dead. Ben Gvir is going, no.
Ben Gvir is going there right now. Ben Gvir is not dead.
That's another one of the rumors that has been going around for weeks, that Ben Gvir was dead.
Yes, I have video of Ben Gvir from 2 days ago where you can clearly see that he's alive.
No matter what you show them, they'll say he's dead.
They said no, it was artificial intelligence, just like with Bibi. The security cabinet is hesitating about how to respond to this attack.
If they're hesitating, it's because the response could be very strong,
Hesitating. What does it mean so people understand hesitating? It means that there are several options on the table and they still haven't agreed on which one to choose.
Gas plant. Again? Podría ser.
Por lo general,
Usually they hold a vote, and in this case, some people have a double vote. For example, Bibi has a double vote
Why?
because within the security cabinet, there's a mini security cabinet, and then there's the largest security cabinet with the ministers that Bibi decided he trusts to be informed about the most sensitive matters. But for example, one of them is the Minister of Economy. You see, another one is the Minister of Education. So within the security cabinet, that's what's initially called the Mitbakon. It's a committee, a small committee made up of Bibi, the Minister of Defense, the Chief of Staff, the head of Shin Bet, and the head of Mossad. Among them, generally, they are the ones who make the decisions because they are the professionals. Then they pass it on to the ministry. In the larger cabinet, there is usually a vote, but generally, what the small committee decides is also what the larger cabinet decides. And it's simply about consultation so that there are also other voices within the cabinet. But there are people who have, it's not official, okay, but there are people who have a double vote. But for example, it's not common to go against the Minister of Defense and the Prime Minister in the Security Cabinet. It's not something common. Do you understand then if the Chief of the Army together with the head of Mossad presents something to the Minister of Defense? A route, a specific plan of action? That's what they want to do. Then they present it to the rest of the cabinet. Usually it's nearly half decided already, which is why we say they have a so-called quote-unquote double voting isn't real. It's not like they raise two hands and their two votes are counted, but their votes can carry more weight. There's the security cabinet and the mini security cabinet.
Interesting.
sí. Sí.
This is super interesting. Images keep coming in of people who aren't going to the shelters. I insist on this. You have to go to the shelters.
Correct?
On some occasions I've had, because it caught me outside and I had to go to one. I've even seen that they don't even close the door, please. It's the lives of so many people. There's a really shocking image. The missile crater, by the way, wasn't caused by a direct hit. It didn't strike a building directly. If it had, we would be talking about an even bigger problem. I want to show you this image that you're about to see now. 1 second, Ariel. Thank you for being here with us. QDH Historia, a channel you can follow. Total trust, 100% in what is being told there. Look at the crater.
People bless?
It's tremendous.
Well, I'm leaving. I'll leave you here analyzing strategies. A hug. May people bless you. Thank you all, dear community. See you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves in the coming days. And if you are Israeli, go to the shelter.
Thank you very much, Ariel. We're going to watch more videos here about what's happening. There is Ariel, who is super tired. He has made a great effort to be here with us to tell us firsthand what is happening, what is going on inside Israel at this moment. Even though we are here, obviously the television speaks in Hebrew, not in English, and there are details we can't know or understand, right? March 4th, 2026. Nasser Torabi, an expert on international affairs from Iran, says during his interview on television that Iran must be recognized as a world power. And that for this reason we have entered and presented a new phase. And now they really have to build nuclear weapons. We have to show the region who has the hegemony, and we have to build nuclear weapons. I don't know if Europe wants an Iran with nuclear weapons or not. Looking the other way and letting the United States and Israel take all the responsibility for the operation. They are allowing it. And that's going to cost them. That's going to cost them very, very dearly. The price to pay will be extremely high. We have footage from the other location of the incident, from the Dimona area, hours earlier, ground zero. We're also going to take a look at it. Here's the situation.
It's very important. Go ahead. Rapid fire shooting exercise in all zones.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's terrible. It's terrible. The official statement from Magen David Adom is as follows. And the last one, what's happening now? 10 minutes ago. The Magen David Adom Blood Service is providing 90 units of blood and blood components to the Soroka Hospital in Beersheba, following the recent incidents that occurred in the south. At the moment, there is no call for blood donation in the Beersheba area. There is still no call, but 90 units have been sent with blood to the hospital. The latest update at 11:45 at night, just a few minutes ago, says 64 people evacuated to the hospital, 7 in serious condition, 15 moderate, 42 minor, in ambulances, mobile intensive care units, and also some in Israeli Air Force helicopters. The teams continue searching for the injured. Updates will be provided as necessary. I know there are reports being discussed that there are no longer any missing people and that there are 2 people still missing who may not have been in the building. I'm not going to comment on that here because I'm only going to read to be sure what the official government source says. They are never going to hide in any way the number of dead or the number of injured. There's nothing to hide here. This isn't a secret. Israel is a country that knows how to bleed, and it has been doing so for many years. And yes, the situation is complicated and difficult, especially for family right now. And there is already a preliminary report of what might have happened in these attacks. Breaking news right now. How could it be that Iran got past the system? The same missile used in Dimona and in Arad is the same one that made it in Beit Shemesh. A preliminary investigation revealed that the United States Air Defense System, THAAD, was supposed to intercept the missiles that hit Arad and Dimona, but it failed in both cases. According to Marif, a similar failure occurred in a recent incident in Beit Shemesh. The missiles were identical in all 3 cases. The system used 3 missiles, 3 impacts, all 3 the same, all 3 that passed through the STAT system. Well, I would like to. You know, this is Military Strategies, which is an information channel, and above all, about things related to the military world. I would like to analyze it. This 3 missiles, it won't be Khorramshahr, it's probably not this one. Iran said it's that one, but it might not be that one. They won't tell you what they're using to bypass the system, but this is the one from Dimona. I would like to go back to the Dimona video, which I think is quite important. There we see it fall, right? This one, excuse me, that's not the one. Let's go to the Dimona one, which is the cluster one. I think these missiles change their trajectory. There's a moment when these missiles change trajectory almost like they jump. We saw it in the 2024 war when they were used against the Nevatim base. And I think from what we're seeing, I'm going to look for the video. I think we're dealing with that kind of the projectile. Let's look for it over here. At one point, it even speeds up. An arrow. comes in from the cloud. I would make you, or I would think,
Everything is up to date, Javi.
there appears the one that's going to intercept it. It misses. Yes, there's some movement there. I'll see if we can play it in slow motion. Let's do one thing. I apologize to you all, okay? We're live. I apologize because we can't do everything instantly. Like, do magic and boom, everything appears. That's it. Let's do one thing. Let's edit the video. We'll use slow motion. Because I think that missile they're launching makes some kind of jump to bypass the system. And this has been talked about a lot on many occasions. It's been said a lot. And I think we have to look at it. Let's see. I'm going to close it here. I'm going to mute it. I'm editing live. Excuse me, everyone. We're live right now on military strategies. Let's go. Let's see. Let's go. Let's slow it down. Let's go. I'm going to where you can see the missile. Well, we're going to be surprised. We're going to be really surprised. We'll be surprised a lot. Careful. Just a second. I'm checking it on my end. Wait a second. I'm verifying this. And this might change a little. How we interpret tonight's events in Israel. Anyway, I would need videos. More about this incident. 1 second, I'm going to play it a little slower. Let's see if we can see it. Well, it looks like we have a problem. I think we have a problem. And it's also a serious problem. We're going to watch it now on video. 1 second, I'm editing it. Wow. Well, I don't think this is a Khorram Shah. I feel like this isn't a Khorram Shah. I think we're going to find a surprise. Let's watch it again. It's incredible what I'm seeing in slow motion. What I'm seeing, I think it's clarifying. Let's edit. 2 videos, one at 0.5 speed. And then another one even slower so people can see it. I ask you for patience, please. I know you're there right now watching nothing. You're not seeing anything. In fact, I even think that we could. Let's see if we can do something. We can't. We can't, because I want to bring up a monitor. Let's see if we could. No.
You can't?
Okay, we have one. Now let's do the super slow one. I mean, we're going to go from 0.5 to 0.25. And this, well, it's going to change a bit, and we're going to realize exactly what I'm saying. All right, let's do it, family. Let's see if there's anything strange about these missiles. First camera. At minus 0.5. Maybe it's still too fast and you didn't notice. Let's watch again. We're going to enlarge it. Let's enlarge it. Let's watch it. Now, even much slower. Let's make it even slower, because when we play it even slower now, that's when we'll really notice exactly what's happening there. It's the same missile that was used in Beit Shemesh, where the anti-air defense systems failed. I'm going to crop it. I'll enlarge it so we can see. Right now, there are 29,000 of us family. Please, your likes are super important at this moment for this special program we're doing. Doing things found nowhere else. Let's do it. Super slow motion camera. Let's focus on the first detail. There's a first attempt at interception right there. It fails. Watch how the missile moves. It fails. It fails. The second interceptor goes past it. I think now we truly realize it, right? Let's review your chat comments. What do you think happened? Me? When I first saw the video, let's say I have a good eye, I'll put it that way. I realized there was something strange. What? Original? This is the original.
Mim.
I'm going to try to search. Let's try to find more videos of the Demona missile. I think that first, let's see, you can see there's an anomaly, but we don't know if it's because of the quality of the video recording. That could also be the case. It could be, or we could also be talking about an anomaly in that sense, right? So let's take it easy. There's time. We're not in a hurry. We can do this calmly. There's no rush at all. But let's do things right, because this is a pretty serious matter. So I'm trying to look for the missile attacks on Dimona. Let's see. Missiles, 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 missiles. Okay, there's another one over here. Let's see. Here's another one, which is very interesting too. We have another one over here. We have one more. We're already looking for original videos, not the ones edited by third parties. Let's look for original videos. Have they also dropped cluster bombs tonight? I mean, has there been... There's been everything. There's been everything, right? Let's see. Let's watch more videos from the sequence. Here, for example, it seems straight, right? But of course, we're already 200 meters away. We're 200 meters away already, right? This video isn't really that amazing either. Let's see, this one. Let's edit this one. Let's do the same thing we did before. Let's clear up any doubts. Depending on how you look at it, we'll see it one way or another. Let's see. This is complicated, huh? What we're doing today live, investigating live, something that takes hours, doing it calmly without rushing. Let's see. It's true that the Iron Dome, what we're seeing isn't the thought system, it's the Iron Dome. It's not made for that. Yes, it looks like it's changing. Look at a detail. Look at the change in speed that happens from one point to another. You'll see, I haven't changed the speed throughout the whole video. I mean, it's set at the same speed, it's reduced. Okay. Look, since it's going at a certain speed there, you can even see some jumps, some small turns. And from now on, you'll see how it accelerates. There you can see how it accelerates. We're talking about 2 points, two things. One, the missile can change speed in the final stage to accelerate and gain more momentum. But we could also say, based on the image we've seen here, the movement of the person recording the video affects it, but you can also see possible movement from the missile in a zigzag pattern, and then the speed changes. We see it again over here. An Iranian missile coming in from above. Change of speed. That's why the Iron Dome explodes before the missile arrives, because the missile is slowing down from above. It's slowing down. It keeps slowing down. And when it passes the Iron Dome, it will start to accelerate. You can see the jump in the image. It's clearly visible. A missile. But this, let the experts confirm it. I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert in this. You know, I don't know much. It seems strange to me. I don't know about you, but it seems strange to me. We should look for more videos. We should look for more videos of Dimona, which is the one most often seen. More details have been seen. Tomorrow and Monday, schools will be closed throughout Israel. All people have been rescued and are in the hospital. There are currently no deaths. We have this video as well, although since it's straight on, you can't really see the difference. Let's watch this one. The first thing you see is a missile going out to get it. Wow. Let's edit this video. This one could be interesting too. This video could be interesting too. Let's watch it over here. Only. The only editing I do to the image is to remove the audio and slow down the speed. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to first play a 0.50 version, we'll prepare it, and then another slower version. Of this same video so that we can compare. Let's see. Both moments. Now let's switch to 0.25. Come on, let's see. First version. It made a jump. I think there's a jump, but let's see. Second version slower. Let's see. There's the missile. I think there's a moment right there when the missile goes up and then comes down again. It could be that during these days, maybe it's this. It's just my opinion. Iran has been watching the videos, watching them a lot. They've been calculating the altitudes. Do they know more or less at what altitude Israel is intercepting missiles? And they program so that the missile makes that movement. At that altitude, that kind of up and down jump, to avoid it, I think let's see it. The interceptor explodes first, but that's just the Iron Dome. Ignore the interceptor. This is the moment. It is possible because we've seen it in 2024. That's what I'm saying. In the attack on the Nevatim base, missiles that before reaching the target changed direction, jumped, and came back. Has this been seen in footage? Look, let's go find it. In the well-known attack, many are sharing on social media now. From Israel, receiving incessant missile fire. Let's see if we can find it around here. It's one where a bunch of missiles come down, an incredible amount of missiles come down towards Nevatim. I'm looking for it. Let's see if this is it. This one. Let's see. It's not. Here it is. Here it is. In this video, 2024 video from 2024. In this video, in that attack against the Nevatim base. This is archive footage. Let's place it here. 1 second. We'll put it there. 2024 footage, actually 2024 video, 2024. Video. This is not recent.
Thank you. Hello?
We're going to edit it. We're going to edit it. We're going to put it in slow motion so you can see what I'm saying. It's the same as with Dimona. It's the same so that people, well, this way can compare a little. We mute the noise. We change speeds. Let's set it directly to 0.25 so you can really notice the quantitative jump in the movement, in the trajectory of those missiles. And at edit it, and we're going to see it. Come on, let's take a look at it. 1 second, family. There we go. Let's see. I remember that in this video there was one of them that jumped. It followed that famous trajectory. What's going on? Maybe the full video isn't here? You can't see it? Let's see. What? You can have some maneuverability. That's what we say. Iran has been researching this and they surely have something. I'm sure they have something. Else that was clearly seen in that video. No, okay, let's do a recap, everyone. Let's recap what's happening right now. What's going on? There are victims, injured people. And, according to sources, an Iranian security and political source told the Lebanese newspaper Al Mayadeen that mediators have presented proposals to stop the war. But Iran has set 6 conditions within a new strategic legal framework, guarantees that the war will not resume. Closure of US military bases in the region, compensation to Iran for damages from the attacks. The end of regional conflicts, implementation of a new legal order governing the Strait of Hormuz, prosecution and extradition of media personnel considered hostile to Iran. Wow, they're going to send me to Iran, they're going to send me to Iran, otherwise there won't be a ceasefire, we're hostile. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. We shouldn't bring journalists who speak badly about Iran. And Trump, has he responded? Trump has responded to him? Well, extradition of media personnel considered hostile to Iran. The source added that Iran will continue its campaign to punish the aggressor until the American and Zionist aggression of Trump learns the historical lesson. He said the operations follow a pre-established strategy, prepared months in advance. What has Trump responded? What has Trump said to him? Let's take a look at it. Let's remove this photo. The United States has wiped Iran off the map, and yet their low-level analyst David Sanger says I haven't achieved my own objectives. Yes, I have achieved them. And weeks ahead of schedule, their leadership is gone. Their Navy and Air Force are dead, they have absolutely no defense, and they want to make a deal. I don't. We are weeks ahead. Just like with their incompetent election coverage about me, the failing New York Times is always wrong. President Donald J. Trump. Yes, but do they still have missiles? Photos. Iran, Israel warns you. Any escalation by the enemy will be met with unprecedented tightening of measures in the Strait of Hormuz, and our options remain open. Any aggression against our infrastructure will be met with widespread and immediate destruction of vital facilities of the occupying entity. He knows what's coming. Iran tonight, they're getting fired up. Iran tonight has tasted blood and they're getting fired up. Iran. The IDF. The air defense systems operated but failed to intercept the missile. We will investigate and learn from the incident. This is not about special or unusual weaponry. One second, let me close this. Well, it seems the missile accelerates in the final stage. Look, it's just look of the seconds it takes to cross from one frame to another. Look here at how slowly it's going. The missile is slowing down. It's slowing down there. It's slowing down there. And now it starts to accelerate. Chokloke. It's not something new because the IDF knows this, but it's something difficult. It's a challenge. We have to adjust the system and adjust it properly. Aerial images of Arad. Ground zero. Thank you so much to everyone who is with us. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Right now on Military Strategies Live, Arad images. Let's take a look at it. It fell right in the middle of the apartment blocks to cause the maximum possible damage. To maximize the damage to more buildings. It didn't fall on just one, it fell right in the center. And that wasn't chosen at random. That wasn't chosen at random. They already targeted that spot to cause the most possible damage to more buildings. Right in the center of the square. This is striking. Striking. It could be another reason. Only 2 interceptors have been launched against a missile. Usually more are launched. It could be that there are fewer missiles, which is also possible to intercept. Before, Israel was launching 3. It could be Iran is also starting to learn. Iran is not stupid. And here we have the idiot of the night. We're going to give him an award. Every night we have a special guest. We have guys who are very angry. And tonight, well, we have a special one. Pay attention to who we're going to bring. Pay attention to who we have. I'm not going to make any comments. I'll let people in the chat make their comments. In Spain, there's a man named Pablo Echenique who says he's a scientist. We don't know if he's a scientist of dictatorships. We don't know. We just know. Pablo Echenique, I don't know if you know him. Pablo Echenique today, he wrote something very typical of him, something that really reflects his personality as a human being. Did he say this? Well, Israel's missiles can also reach Berlin, Paris, Rome, or Madrid, with two differences compared to Iran. Israel's missiles can carry nuclear warheads because they do have the bomb. Israel has committed genocide, I'm clear about it. Who is more frightening? All this according to information from Europa Press. Israel warns that Iranian missiles can reach Berlin, Paris, or Rome. They face a direct threat from this range. I repeat, Pablo Echenique says that Israel's missiles can carry nuclear warheads because they do have the bomb. It has committed genocide. I know clearly who is more frightening. Maybe, I'm not going to say the word because it would be quite derogatory and I don't want to. This kind of statements. They deserve to be up to the level that he is not. Maybe. Echenique hasn't been shown the images from the morgues all over Iran, with more than 40,000 people dead in a week of peaceful protests of what they call democratic medicine or democracy has gone out to protest. Maybe Echenique hasn't seen the number of homosexuals who have been hanged and executed by the Iranian regime, the number of women who have been executed, raped, and tortured by the Iranian regime, the number of athletes who have been executed by the Iranian regime, the number of disappeared people under the Iranian regime. But is Echenique more afraid of Israel? Yes, Israel precisely doesn't have any special affection for people who support dictatorships that massacre their own people. If they were in power, you'd already be seeing what the future of Spain would look like. You'd already be seeing it. I want comments, okay? I want comments. What do you think about this? To me, it seems appalling. It's horrible. It's horrible that someone would say such nonsense. But also one of the biggest ones. From here, the key is Saudi Arabia. If Saudi Arabia takes the step forward, if Saudi Arabia makes a move, the Gulf countries will join in. There will be a massive operation against Iran. And I think that's what should happen. Not involving NATO, because it's a system that doesn't work. In fact, I think NATO has died in this war without even participating. It's dead. It's dead. They have given in to the political pressure from people like Echenique, people like Sanchez, people like Iglesias. And by the way, Pablo Iglesias, who says he's in Cuba, to organize a liberation flotilla to Cuba, the Cuban flotilla, he traveled by plane, not by boat. He went to a 5-star hotel, to the Melia in Havana, and he's sleeping in the hotel suite. Meanwhile, out on the streets, those he claims are suffering don't have electricity, water, gas, or food. But the cruiser, who hasn't actually taken a cruise but instead took a flight to Havana, says he's going to join the flotilla. But if he's already in Cuba, how is he going to join the flotilla? They're going to take him out on some little boat through some secondary port, put him on a ship so that in the last 10 kilometers Iglesias appears disembarking in Cuba. That's the world of these people, Iranians, leftists, communists, political freeloaders, and corrupt people. That's right. That's how things are happening right now. Family, that's what's happening right now while we are live. Please, it's super important. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's despicable that there are people like that using other people's suffering and laughing at everyone. It's too much. It's too much. But I keep going and going and going. Announcement, breaking news from Saudi Arabia. Let's see. Let's see if the Saudis step up even more. This goes on, family. This doesn't stop. Dimona and Arad have been hit, but the war goes on. We have to look ahead. There's still a long mission ahead. They are not defeated, they are wounded and more dangerous. Let's go to Saudi Arabia's statement. Let's do it. Ministry of Foreign Affairs reiterates the unequivocal conduct of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in response to the blatant Iranian attacks against the kingdom, the State of the Gulf Cooperation Council, and several Arab and Islamic countries. The continuous attacks by the Islamic Republic of Iran against the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, its sovereignty, civilian assets, and economic interests, and diplomatic missions in the kingdom. They constitute a blatant violation of all relevant international conventions, the principles of good neighborliness, and respect for the sovereignty of states. In the Beijing Agreement and United Nations Security Council Resolution 2817-2026. They also contradict the principles of Islamic Brotherhood and the values and precepts of the Islamic faith that the Iranian side continuously invokes, thus confirming that such statements are not reflected in their actions, reaffirming the statement issued by the ministry on March 9, 2026. With regard to Iran's continued attacks, which will lead to further escalation and have serious consequences for present and future relations. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has notified the military attaché of the Embassy of the Islamic Republic of Iran in the kingdom. The deputy military attaché and 3 members of the mission staff have been asked to leave the kingdom and have been declared persona non grata. They are required to leave the kingdom within 24 hours. The kingdom also says it will not hesitate to take necessary steps to bring peace to the country. Saudi Arabia declared that it will protect its territory, its airspace, citizens, residents, resources, and interests in accordance with Article 51 of the United Nations Charter. Less talk and more action. But they're getting tired. The Saudis, they're getting tired. They're reaching a point of being very, very tired. Oh my God. I'm seeing images over here. Pretty intense, huh? We have images of Ben Gvir. It's arrived. One second, family. We're checking something. One second. We have video of Ben Gvir. Video of Ben Gvir. By the way, let's try to have the moderators post this live stream on Telegram so the community gets notified. I see a notification hasn't been sent, please. Let's pay attention to these things. Super important, all right. Let's get to it. We have video of Ben Gvir. Let's watch it, Ben Gvir. Well, Ben Gvir is not dead. Ben Gvir is not dead. Ben Gvir, Israel's Minister of Internal Security, arrives at Ground Zero. There is Ben Gvir. The media asked to enter, but they're not allowed in or through. Watch out. If Ben Gvir is there, the response will be strong. The response is going to be quite strong. It's going to be quite forceful, without a doubt. Without a doubt, Ben Gvir is there. The response is going to be strong. Family, we're leaving right now, quickly. En Leis Judío, they're giving a lot of coverage there. I want to see reactions. Dr. Irving Attel is live right now. I'm going to try to go over there with them. See you in the next show here on Military Strategies. Thank you for being live with us. Special program, chaotic situation in the south of Israel with missile impacts. See you in the next show. Best regards.